if Love isn't the guy, you bring Derek Carr. You got a quarterback now that you could depend on, and now you get 2 first-round draft picks. You could bring in pieces to help this team really start to become a contender. It doesn't make any sense. Green Bay is very dumb. If they don't, if they're going to hold on to hope that Aaron Rodgers is going to come back, boy, oh boy, are they going to be surprised? Because he's not. He's not going to play this year. He'll sit out the whole season. So, he'll be the host of Jeopardy.
Right. And again, the other leverage point with both the Broncos and the Raiders, if the Raiders, you get Derek Carr, who's still young. He's still more than a capable enough quarterback, top 10 quarterback when he's healthy. So you're already solving that problem. We say all the time, all right, he's not Aaron Rodgers, obviously, but if Rodgers is gone, they have to start Jordan Love. They're not competitive at all. At least with Derek Carr, if that's the trade you get, they could still be a competitive team. They're not going to be a Super Bowl team, but they'll win the division. They could win the division with Derek Carr as their quarterback. And the same thing with the Broncos. If they end up getting players on their roster, a lot of the Broncos' strengths are the Packers' biggest weaknesses too. So they could get some linebacker help, receivers that they don't have, because the Broncos have a lot of good young receivers. Right. So there's a lot of leverage points with both those teams that the Packers have to take advantage of right now. I think the Broncos have a little more for them to work with, but again, if they want the quarterback right away with Derek Carr, who's still on what was a big contract at the time, but now looking a little more manageable, that's not so bad before they can rebuild the rest of their team. And again, maybe they end up getting some other pieces to go with it too. Maybe guys on their roster, and that is going to be a big point. And like Ben was saying, because it's in the AFC, you're not going to have to worry about facing him if that's what you're worried about.
Like I said, I think if you're the Packers at this point, you're in a tough scenario, right? Because on the one hand, you're thinking you're holding out hope that this guy does show up and everything like that. On the other hand, if you give this guy away, you have to make sure the value that you're getting back is you're assured.
Of course.
What you're getting. And the problem is, if they trade him to, say, the Broncos or the Raiders, those, yes, they're first-round picks, but those are going to be very, very late first-round picks.
Who cares?
You know
I
what
think
I mean?
most teams are going to be
it matters to the point, because the thing is, like, at least with – like, and everybody brings up the Jamal Adams trade, but the thing is, Jamal Adams was a safety. You already got the value back with those 2 first-round picks.
Look what the Jets did with Seattle's pick.
Yeah,
They got Elijah Vera-Tucker.
If you want to trade up, it's a great idea. If you want to trade up, that's totally fine. I think they should. I think they're going to hold out to see what happens. Is it a mistake? It might be, but like I said, maybe Rodgers kind of hopes I take a year off in football, relax, do my Jeopardy thing, and then next year I can pick where I want to go next year. Mm-hmm. Maybe that might be another reason why a lot of teams don't maybe want to trade for him.
I think Oakland
he's going to sign with them.
Oakland would be the perfect fit and a perfect trade partner for a team like the Green Bay Packers. They can get the quarterback. They can make sure that even if they don't think Love's the guy, and a lot of people think that Love isn't the guy. I've been reading a couple of different magazines and stuff that, different articles that I've read. A lot of people just don't feel that Love is the guy yet. Maybe he will be in the future, but as of right now, he's not. And if you're going to start the season with a running back that you overpaid and a wide receiver, a disgruntled wide receiver that doesn't want to be there. I mean, you're hearing that Derek Carr is trying to talk him into going to Oakland when he could be going to Green Bay. Mm-hmm. I mean, makes a lot of sense where Derek Carr could go.
Actually, that might be another reason to try to trade with the Raiders. You might even be able to get him on a discount in that case if Derek Carr is already saying this about Davante Adams.
Yeah, and they're very good friends. Him and Derek Carr are very, very good friends. So I think it's a great trade partner. It makes a lot of sense. The question is, will they do it? And that's the Green Bay Packers. And if Green Bay don't do it, it's stupid. It really is a dumb move by them, because this organization, who has been prideful all these years of keeping their own players, really not bringing in free agents. They're not known as an organization that does that. They draft somewhat good some years.
Depends on the position.
Yeah. This is an organization that is not owned by anybody but the fans, and it's just a crazy organization and a winning organization, and they pride themselves with great quarterbacks. This could be a time where it could be years for them to find a quarterback that's going to be an Aaron Rodgers, a.k.a. Brett Favre-like quarterback. I mean, every single 20 years they get a quarterback, a great quarterback, and they've been known to find that guy. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if Love's the guy, and if Love isn't, Derek Carr would be a great piece to build your team around. So Stupid.
Snug says Aaron Rodgers to the Chargers for Stan Humphries. Ben says, yep, AFC would make sense. Sam says Green Bay is not trading him, and they made that clear. It's also getting late into the summer for a trade, so to make sense for another team unless he's traded this coming week. Ben says if it happens, they need to do it now. If not, there's no point in doing it this close to the season. Ben says chasing away back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Snug says, who knew that Aaron Rodgers was so good at trivia? I heard he makes up his own questions. Clarence says, what's up, fellas? With his Giannis profile picture now. Snug says, you're Brittany now in the comments section and welcoming her in. Ben says, Rodgers to the Jets to make Errol's year.
No, I don't want Aaron Rodgers because I want a continuance greatness.
The Jets aren't close to winning. No. Aaron Rodgers wouldn't make it.
And I don't. Yes, he would. You put Aaron Rodgers on that team? Are you kidding me? Oh, absolutely.
Wouldn't make sense.
If you put Aaron Rodgers on the Jets right now, they're not a Super Bowl contender? Come on, man. No, absolutely. So. The Jets aren't going to do it. Joe Douglas wants to go young.
It's a moot point anyway because it's not going to even
He's not doing it. But does Aaron Rodgers make the Jets a Super Bowl contender in their division? Absolutely. Absolutely. With the players that they have.
Jeff asks, is the beef with you?
But he's not going to the Jets, and I never thought that was ever going to happen.
Sam says you're assuming you're assuming the Packers want Derek Carr. Green Bay didn't spend a high draft pick on this guy and upset Rodgers in the making to pass on Love before he even seeing him play. Not happening. Carr's not that kind of difference maker.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. Jeff says when Rodgers leaves.
Hold on, Sam. Hold on. Before you finish, I'll put this. Sam, if you don't think Derek Carr could be a championship quarterback when he has been a top 8 quarterback in the NFL really for the last 3 years, even with his injury when he came back. And by the way, people thought he was an MVP candidate before he hurt his leg, if you remember.
He was he was the runner-up that year, in my opinion.
He was fantastic, okay? For you to think that he's not a difference maker, boy, oh boy, you need to open up your damn eyes and wake up. This guy can play. This guy's got game. Okay, and you put him with Davante Adams with that team, I absolutely believe Derek Carr could win with that team. I don't think he's Aaron Rodgers good. No, who is?
No.
Who is? Maybe 3 quarterbacks in this league that can compete with Aaron Rodgers. Besides that, nobody. Derek Carr is an elite. He's right under the elite, the tier 2s. Mm-hmm. You know, he's in the beginning of the tier 2s.
Right. He's the best half of that top tier group, that second tier group, or again, you anywhere depending on the year, probably ranked 8th to 12th or something like that in terms of an overall quarterback.
7th, 8th. Yeah, that's where he is.
Something in that range, depending on his best years. He was second in MVP 2016. He didn't get to play in the playoffs, obviously, because he got hurt. He's one of the best fourth quarter quarterbacks in the league. He's done it with a lot of random talent that has been overpaid, talent's been old. Errol and I brought up Darren Waller earlier. Darren Waller was an undrafted guy with the Ravens that wasn't getting anywhere.
He was a drug addict.
And now he's a top 3 tight end. And
I wonder why.
A lot of people think the best. So again, he's gone through a lot of different obstacles.
It's all about Darren Waller, or was it Derek Carr helping him become that player?
Exactly. So again, he's overcome a lot of different things, a lot of bad front office.
A lot better than his brother, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, of course. But Derek Carr would make that team a consistent playoff team. Their division isn't that good. Again, the Packers. Again, unless they have to trade other more to get other players, they're going to still have a pretty good roster. Their roster's not terrible to begin with. It's not great, but it's not terrible to begin with. So Derek Carr is on that team. They can still win the division. Are they a Super Bowl contender? No.
Who knows?
But
who knows? You just don't know.
Right.
Did Joe Flacco went to the Super Bowl and won a Super Bowl? Mm-hmm. Why can't Derek Carr? Derek Carr's a better player than Joe Flacco ever was.
Right.
Okay? He is. He has a great inside and outside of the pocket. He can make every single throw. He's got a great arm. One of the best arms in the NFL. I mean, how could anybody say he's not a difference maker? He's an absolute difference maker.
Right. And Carr, the only risk is just the injury because he's had a couple big injuries.
He's just not Aaron Rodgers. But again, who is? So, I mean, there might be 3 guys that Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes, and maybe Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson.
Right.
Those are the only and really the only guy that I could say is even close to him all around game is Pat Mahomes. I mean Deshaun Watson and Pat Mahomes. Those are the only 2 guys that could do the things that he can do. And you're going to say Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson, he's a smaller guy. He doesn't have the the on-end ability to make things happen outside of the pocket does. But when Aaron Rodgers runs, he can run between the hashes. Russell Wilson's too small to do that.
Ben says, back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterbacks and only 2 Super Bowls. We've been so upset with the management as Packer fans, which you should be. I'm just saying.
Kyler Murray's he's not ready to be.
He's not that yet.
Considered that.
We'll see. Ben, he's still not as bad as some of the other teams in the league, though. Jeff says, Jeff Bezos spent more time in space than the Jets spent in the playoffs in the last 10 years.
He's right, yeah.
Snug says, well, of course, Dak Prescott is a rog good, whatever that means. Okay, drugs are good. Sam says, no one says Carr isn't good.
And why are the Jets being brought up into this conversation? Really, seriously. We're not even talking about them.
Sam says, nobody says that Carr isn't good, but Green Bay likes Jordan Love. It's not happening. Carr is just fine. Snug says, the Packers are in a quarterback arms race with the Vikings with Cousins. Ben says, Snug, I'm a better quarterback than Cousins.
He's probably right. No, I'm just kidding. I like Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've defended Kirk Cousins.
I like Kirk Cousins.
As far as I've known him on this network.
He's on the wrong team. If you put Kirk Cousins on San Francisco, forget it. If San Francisco somehow plies, and I'll tell you this right now, Kirk Cousins, he's a free agent after next year. Mm-hmm. Guarantee you he goes to the San Francisco 49ers. Guarantee it.
Even with Trey Lance there?
Yeah, Trey Lance is not ready. They say he's 2-3 years away. He's not. And Jimmy Garoppolo's gone after this year. He's gone. If he's not gone, if Aaron Rodgers is not going to San Francisco. I believe Kirk Cousins will be a San Francisco 49er next year. I do believe.
And he's older too, Josh. So it'll probably only be like a 2-year deal or something.
1 year,
like that.
2 years.
One 2-year deal is fine.
Right. Yeah, year to year. Obviously, Trey Lance is not ready. They said Trey Lance is 2-3 years away. He's not starting, and everybody knows that. Nobody's blind to see that. He's not ready. Remember, he missed a whole year of college football. He's so behind all the other quarterbacks.
And he plays on the most loaded team consistently year to year in the FCS. So he had a lot of talent to work with too.
So much.
So I think it's going to be very, very interesting. But all in all, I think Aaron Rodgers needs to be traded. I think Green Bay needs to make a move, and they need to start deciding the fate of this organization and where this organization is going. And I just, if you hold on to Aaron Rodgers, this could set your team back for another 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And that's saying a lot from an organization that's been dominant, really, for the last 25, 30 years. They've been dominant. And it's sad the way this team is going, but fire the GM if you want Aaron Rodgers to stay. That's the way to go.
Ben says Rodgers won't go to San Francisco. It'll be someone else taking over for Jimmy G before Trey Lance. We were saying Kirk Cousins to San Francisco.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Which is more likely because he's a free agent at the end of the year. The 49ers don't have first-round picks to trade for Aaron Rodgers right now.
He signed a 2-year extension last year. Okay? No, the year before that.
Right.
He signed a 2-year extension. Last year was the first. This year is his second. He is done after this year. So he will be a free agent. And I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle Shanahan brings Kirk Cousins to that organization. It makes a lot of sense. It really does.
Sam says Trey Lance is the guy in San Francisco for years to come. Yes, but again, he's still more of that project type where I doubt he'll be ready.
They say it's 3 years away.
Right. I doubt he'll be ready to be confidently saying, all right, he's going to be great right away. If he has one of the stretches like Garoppolo had when he first came to the 49ers in that second half of the season, yeah, okay, that's different. But I don't think anyone's expecting him to come in and start 12 games and be great right away.
All right, so Sam says there's no way the 49ers are signing Kirk freaking Cousins. I'll tell you what, Sam. I'll make you a bet on that. That's something that I will absolutely – whatever you want to bet on that, I'm willing to put it in the pot. Everybody can hear it. We'll write it down. I'll put $100. I'll put $1,000 on it. If Kirk Cousins becomes a free agent, that's where he's going. You can bank that. You can put it, staple it, do whatever. You can mail it to yourself. I guarantee you. Trey Lance is not ready. He's not starting for the next 2 years. It makes a lot of sense. Kirk Cousins would fit like a glove in that offense. He knows the offense from top to bottom. Who do you think drafted him? Who do you think was involved with drafting him? Kirk Cousins, go look at his numbers when Kyle Shanahan was over there. Go look at the numbers. Kyle Shanahan's been trying to get him for years to go to San Francisco. You don't think he's going to go there when he's a free agent?
Remember also, Kirk Cousins had those numbers in a role that was very unexpected because RG3 was hurt all the time. So he wasn't always taking first-team reps. No. He wasn't getting all the same chemistry. And Kyle Shanahan was only with him that one season when Cousins was stepping in 2014. He loves
Kirk Cousins.
And then Kirk Cousins, remember, his first year as a starter full-time, he did well in that season, even without Kyle Shanahan, too. So he's done it without these offensive type coaches.
By the way,
2015 he left for Atlanta.